Hi Sammo, back again. Not in my pot garden, in my kitchen. So what I'm going to do today is make my first batch. Well, I'm trying this method to see if it works or not. If it does, I'll do it. I'll do a bigger batch, but it's going to be me Inca berries from my Triffid, and I'm going to make a pot or two of jam. So the method I'm using I got from this book, and I got it free in one of the gardening magazines. It's Easy Jams, Chutneys and Preserves. Delicious and simple recipes, and it's basically the gooseberry jam, because the Inca berry is basically a Cape gooseberry. So I'm using that method, and it's very simple because they're high in pectin and acid in their own right. Then you don't need to add those, so basically you just need your fruit, water and sugar. The fruit and sugar has to be the equivalent in weight, and the water it's basically a proportion in pints or litres, whichever you prefer. So using that simple method there, I worked out that for 250 grams of Inca berries I need 250 grams of sugar and 157 mils of water. Basically it's a seventh of each one that I need. And well, I'll go through the actual process itself. Okay, I've got everything prepared. This is the container, it's just a large container. I've got water which is starting to boil now. In it I'm sterilising the jars I'll be using with the lids. I perched on some metal cheese grating lids just to keep them off the bottom, so the intense heat at the bottom doesn't cause the glass to shatter the jars. So that's bubbling away. I've got a non-stick pan with the fruit in, 1 spoon, water, sugar, margarine, and then I have in the fridge a plate chilling for the crinkle test. So everything's prepared, and I'm just waiting for the water to boil to start the sterilisation, and once that's done I'll start actually preparing the jam, and I'll come back in a minute when I start doing that. Okay, well the jars are starting to sterilise now, so I'll give them about 15 minutes sterilising time. In the meantime, I've got my fruit there. Now normally you have to top and tail gooseberries to remove any hard bits that they have, but these are just a variety of gooseberry, Inca berry, so, and they don't have any, so I don't have to top and tail these. So basically it's a case of you add the water. Sorry about this, is I'm doing this one-handed, and start to bring it to the boil. That's all it, and so that's bring it to the boil, and you just simmer the fruit gently, try and keep out of the way, just basically give it a little bit of a stir now and again, just so it doesn't catch. I know it's a non-stick pan, but it can still catch. So I'll just continue to stir this until it comes to the simmer. Right, as you can see now, it's up to a simmer. Can't get too close, otherwise it'll get the lens will get steamed up. But yeah, so just a bit of gentle stirring now until the fruit sort of starts to disintegrate and softens up. So as I say, it could take a couple of minutes, so again I'll come back when the next stage is reached. Right, this is breaking down quite nicely now. If you find, depending on what fruit you're using, it might be a bit tougher to break down, or you can use as a potato masher. That just helps it to break down a little bit. But yeah, this is coming nicely and simmering away, and as you can see, it is starting to, all the berries are breaking down now, and it's producing this sort of slightly thickened pulp mush. So I'll just give it a few more minutes, and then I think it'll be time to go on to the next stage. Right, so this has been going for about 10-15 minutes, and we've got this lovely sort of pulp consistency. So the next stage is to add the sugar. So you just take it off the heat, and if you just add in just a bit of the sugar at a time, get it to dissolve. Like that. Taking it off the heat, make sure that your sugar doesn't burn. So that's in. Just keep stirring it in like that. And the last bit. There we go. So, hope you can see that. It's turned slightly more brown, and it's really thickened up now. So, once you're sure all the sugar is dissolved, quick weight check, just touch it, and if it feels grainy, it hasn't dissolved, you can add it a little bit, turn the heat down just a little bit and reheat it again. Keep stirring so it doesn't catch on the bottom. So it's getting there. Be careful when you do that, because it is quite hot, this jam, and because it's mostly sugar now, it sticks to your hands, so it would burn. So we're getting there. Nearly, just a little bit more. Yeah, that's done. So to that, you just add tiny little knob, tiny little bit of margarine. That just helps to stop any of the scum that you normally get when making jams. It sort of helps to break it down so it's not as bad. So again, you bring that up to the boil and give it a good, well, the recipe says boil rapidly, so you need to give it plenty of heat now, so it gets up to, I think it's about 105 for jams. That's like the sort of setting point, the temperature where the jam starts to set. So I'll come back in a couple of minutes when it gets up to the boil. Right, it's up to boil now, bubbling away there like I couldn't, so I'll give it, by the recipe, about 5 minutes. So I'll set the timer and I'll be back in 5. So what I've done is I've put a bit of it on a chilled plate, stick it in the fridge, leave it for 2 minutes. Oops, sorry. Stick it in the fridge 2 minutes, and well, I'll be back then. So this has been in the fridge for a couple of minutes. As you can see there, it's on the plate. So the crinkle test is you just get your finger and push, and as you can see, if it's set crinkles, which that has, and it doesn't, and if you tip the plate, and I'm tipping it vertically here, that's not budging, so that's set. So I don't need to boil it anymore, it's just a case of putting it in the jars now. Right, well, these jars have been sterilising, so it's a case of getting them out now. So I'll just use this handy little piece of forceps, not forceps, tongs. So if you just drain them, get rid of all the excess water. Don't put the jars straight onto a bench, otherwise the chances are you might end up, the cool bench after being in boiling water might end up shattering the glass. So yes, the jars are out. As I say, just be careful because they can be really hot. Sorry about that. So if you've got the gadgets, you can buy a funnel and it helps putting jam in, but I don't have that, so I've just got to pour it in, and if you're careful, you just pour it in like that. There you go, enough for one. So all you need now is a lid. All you need is clean hands. Just put the lid on, and then careful not touch the jar because it'll be red hot. Finger tight. Just get the tongs again carefully put it back in there. Oops. And then it's just a case of turning the heat back on. And there you go. And then normally you do it on a bigger scale than this, but I'm only doing the one. So there's a jar there. There's escaping as it heats up in the hot water. So I'll get this back up to boiling and give it about 10 minutes. So I'll be back then. So it's bubbling away now like a good one. So the point of this is you've made the jam. So by boiling it here, what you're doing is you're expanding the air that's inside the jam jar, causing it to expand. It escapes quite easily, and then once you take it out, it starts to cool down. The air contracts and it basically pulls the lid onto the jam jar, creating the perfect seal. So excuse me. And by creating the perfect seal, these jams should be able to last up to a year, maybe even longer. So this has had its 5 minutes, and I know that because my phone is on a countdown. So as soon as it alarms, which should be any second, I'll switch it off and take it out. And there you go, there's the alarm. So I'll switch the heat off, silence the alarm. So that's boiled. So using the tongs very carefully. Now I've seen videos, and when they take the jar out, you sometimes hear a pop as the air contracts. So I'll be silent when I do this, and we'll see if we can hear it do it. I haven't heard it yet, but don't put it straight on a bench, because the cold bench might cause the jar to shatter. That's quite a good consistency. That is, the seeds are throughout the jam there. Get the focus. So it hasn't floated or sank to the bottom, so that's just perfect. So I'll leave that to cool down now for a couple of hours before I stick it in the fridge. Right, so it's cooled down. I've labelled it up. So there you go. My first jar of Inca berry jam. Right, hope you enjoyed that. Wasn't that hard to make. I've had a little taste of it, and for my first attempt it was very nice. As I say, I can't wait to try a bit on a bit of toast. Give it a go. It's quite a distinctive taste, Inca berries. It's nice. I'll enjoy it. Might not beat everyone's taste, but obviously you can try different fruits. Some are not as high in pectin as Inca berries. Inca berries are very high. It takes nothing to get the jam to set. So if you do make some, you don't need to boil it very long for it to get to the right temperature and set. Others, like strawberries, I think are low in pectin, so you might need to add some, or you know, compensate for it in some way. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back shortly with another video. And so until then, see you later. Not from my pot garden, but from Sammo's kitchen. Bye now.